Hey odds and evens and everything in betweenins, it's your boy, Captain Brookworm. A Captain Brookworm who didn't really expect to have you guys hear my voice again quite so soon, but I just hit 500 subscribers! A momentous occasion, like the pipe dream end goal of my channel, needed something good, so all you Magisterium fans who are still here, I come bearing gifts. First, news on Spoiler Alert 3. I'm planning on making it this year. At some point. I'm not making any promises. I learned my lesson about promises for big projects. It's still in that writing limbo stage, so I appreciate everyone's patience on this. On to the drawing. Originally, I was going to do a redraw of an older Magisterium piece, one that I did in the before times of the Speedpaint content, and well, frankly, all of this deserves to stay in the before times. I'm a big advocate for never throwing out old art, because hot damn, does this make me look at my newer art with much kinder eyes. Here was my rejection process. The chibi one. Honestly, I don't even dislike this one all that much. I think I pulled off the style I was going for pretty well. The only thing I'd actively change besides updating the colors and line thickness that's more reminiscent of my newer style is the amount of folds on the clothes. I think I went a bit overboard. Otherwise, I still actually like this one. The reflection one. To be honest, I already tackled this idea in a much more lighthearted drawing around the time of the first spoiler alert. I didn't want to worry that much about perspective again, because it's hard. So that one was out. Although I do like the upside down prophecy and the blocking of the characters, so maybe one day I'll revisit that part. These two were never finished in the first place, and I don't even remember the context for this one, so the comic is both non-canon compliant and super cringe, so no. This one is kind of a basic bitch pose, so redrawing it wouldn't show how my artistic eye has grown, just my technical skills. Also, side note, this drawing was stored in the pocket of a 3-ring binder, so for years I would flick through the drawings and straight up not see the bottom half of it. Pulling it out and viewing the whole thing in all its glory was quite the shock. The blocking of this one would be hard to pull off with how Joseph would have to be in the background in, accurate anatomy. I also didn't want to draw 3 characters that weren't the main character. I mean, unless you count Constantine, since he's called, but he's not actually called. Forget it. Once again, is not actually bad for where I was at. There's not much I could improve on that's not technical. The main issue with these, in terms of doing a redraw, is the framing and poses are very literal. The two I thought had the best concept, the one with Call's evil overlord list and the one with the quote from Copper Gauntlet that I do end up using, are of him sitting at the table with his dad, which, fair, is what he's doing at that point in the story, but it doesn't really show how he's feeling or convey the tone that the situation implies. You can even see Havoc begging for food in both drawings, which doesn't convey Call's desperate, frantic desire to reject the truth about himself while paradoxically wanting his dad to just spit it out already. Rule of thumb, pizza and puppies do not pair well with emotionally loaded moments. Honestly, my main motivation for starting from scratch is I wanted to start fresh. I wanted to reinvigorate my passion for Magisterium by making something wholly separate from the passion of 2 years ago. Anyway, enough rambling, on to the drawing. Since my young Garmadon drawing turned out so great, I decided to once again utilize the downward angle and eye contact to achieve that claustrophobic effect. Eased up a lot on the angle for this one though, because I only wanted Call's torso in the shot. The hands are kind of a centerpiece of this drawing, so it was important I get them right. I googled a ton of references and hoped for the best. To my surprise, they turned out exactly the way I had pictured them. The fuck? When did I get good at drawing hands? All you artists out there know the agony of struggling with hands, but it came so easy to me this time. The lesson here, use references. The other lesson is to flip your canvas, because I must have spent 5 minutes struggling to get the sleeves of his hoodie to look right, and it wasn't until I flipped the canvas that the problem became so glaringly obvious. Sigh. I probably made Call's skin a smidgen too dark, but creative liberties. My main goal was to have everything in the drawing be either gray or black, with the eye being the glowing focal point of the drawing, and then I remembered Cal has gray eyes. Oops. If you're unfamiliar with color theory that isn't the Tumblr meme, your eye tends to get drawn to things with higher saturation, which is one of the reasons beginner artists are told not to use too many saturated colors. When you're composing, you want the viewer's eye to be drawn to a certain place in the drawing. There's many ways to achieve this, but the easiest is saturation. Since that was out the window for me, I intended to make the eye the point of the image with the highest brightness, i.e. it's white, and I toned everything down to a darker gray, and used a gradient to further draw the eye to the face. Despite using white for the text later, it remains the focal point because humans are typically drawn to eye contact, and I also add a little red under his pupil to also squeeze in the little bit of saturation rule. The lighting was so much fun. I've never done this kind of light filtering through something effect, but it ended up being really fun. Is Cal in prison? Is he in his room looking through the blinds? Is he in a metaphorical dreamscape? You decide! In addition to this, I added some more color to the drawing by making a red-pink rim light, and also made an overlay of blue after the recording to make the shadows pop. For the words, I wanted to have the effect of, the first sentence being real font that doesn't move out of Call's way, even as it frames his head, while the second is shaky hand lettering that contorts itself around his arm and itself. The hand lettering turned out to be the easy part because my shitty handwriting came in handy to give the intended effect. It took me forever to find a suitable font that had the impact without being impact font, otherwise known as the meme font. Both my brother and my girlfriend very much cyberbullied me for my angsty meme drawing. And here is the finished drawing. Let me know what you think in the comments. Subscribe, all those YouTube things. Thanks, everyone, for getting me to 500 subscribers. I'm not kidding, this was the end goal of my channel. This is the part I never thought I would actually get to. But now I'm filled with hubris. Let's get to 1,000 and odds, evens, and everything in between ends. I'll catch y'all later. Bye!